Hello guys and welcome back to Miss Thompson's Math Corner. Today we are continuing working with time, but we are switching it up a little bit today and we are going to count those minutes. Minutes can be counted multiple ways. They can be counted by ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, six, and so on. But today we are counting those minutes by fives. So head over to the kitchen or the restroom to wash your hands. Remember to dry them and head back over so we can get started. Let's start by picking an hour first. We can go with 3 o'clock. We need to move our hour hand to what number? We need to move it to the 3. So we're going to move our hour hand to 3. And where should our minute hand be? Remember the time is 3 o'clock on the 12. So we have our hour hand on 3 and our minute hand on 12. That's 3 o'clock. Today we are going to start by counting our minutes, and we are going to count those minutes by fives. So we are going to move our minute hand to the number 1. If I move my minute hand to the 1, what time do you think it is now? Some of you may say it's 3:01, but when you move your minute hand directly on a number, you are counting those minutes by 5. So when we move our minute hand to the 1, we say it's 3:05. I want you to take that 1, peel it back, and you should see 05 or 5. Okay? So we are going to count our minutes by 5. Remember, whenever you move the minute hand to any one of the numbers on the clock, you're counting by 5s, not by 1s. So let's move that minute hand back to 1. Remember, it's 3:05. So we're counting by 5s and we move the minute hand to the number 2. What time do you think it is now? 3:10. So we move our minute hand to the 2. It is now 3:10. But let's double check to be sure. We can't move it with the minute hand on it, so move it a little bit. And then we want to move that flat back. And we should see the number 10. Okay, let's keep going. Now our minute hand goes to the 3, and our hour hand is on the 3. Remember, it's not 3:03, it's now 3:15. So let's flip that flat back to see the 15. 3:15. So 15 plus 5 more, 3:20. So where should our minute hand be going? It should be moving to the 4. Now we say 3:20. Move that minute hand a little bit. Flip your flap, and we should see 20. Okay, let's keep going. So we're at 3:20, 5 more, 3:25, and our minute hand is now on the 5. Flip that flat, 25. Now, 5 more minutes to 25 is 30, and our minute hand is on the 6, and our hour hand is on the 3. We have 3:30. Now, flip the flap to see the 30. Now, let's move that hand again. We are moving to the 7. What time is it now, guys? 3:35. Let's flip the flap. Now, if you need a reminder while you are working, you can flip the flap before you say the time. If you need a reminder, that's why we have those flaps, because some of us need reminders sometimes. All right, let's move it on to the 8. So let's flip the flap to see how many minutes is it when we move the minute hand to the number 8. It's 40 minutes. Our hour is 3, our minutes is 40. So we say it is 3:40. Okay, let's move the hand to the 9. Now we have 45 minutes. When your minute hand moves to the 9, it is 45 minutes of the hour has passed. We have 45 minutes. All right, let's move to the 10. Let's see how many minutes is there. Move that flap. We have 50 minutes. So when the hand is on the 10, it is now 3:50. If you would like, you can move your flap and place your minute hand on top of it to help it stay down if you would like. If you don't want to move it forward to flip it, you can flip that flap backwards and then put your minute hand on top. All right, let's keep going. Let's see how many minutes we have at 11. You guessed it, 55 minutes. So when that hand is on the 11, it is now 3:55. And then when that minute hand moves all the way back to the 12, what do you think will happen to our clock? Should the hour hand stay on 3 or should it move to the next number? It should move to the next number because 60 minutes has passed. Remember, we need 60 minutes to make a new hour. So if we go around the clock and we start at 3 o'clock and we go from 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 55 minutes, and then we get to the 12, 60 minutes has passed. When 60 minutes has passed, we have made a new hour. So our hand, should be moving forward to the next minute because we just made a new hour. Remember, under our flap, we wrote 60 or 00 because 60 minutes has passed, we've made a new hour. So when that new hour comes, we say 4 o'clock. That's why we have the 00. Okay, we're at 4 o'clock. I want us to take our minute hand and I want us to move it to 4:15. Where should our minute hand go if we need to show 4:15 on the clock? Okay, let's count. If the minute hand is on the 1, that's 5 minutes. If the minute hand is on the 2, that's 10 minutes. And when we move it to the 3, it is now 4:15. Okay, we are going to write 4:15 several ways. First, we're going to write it digital. Remember, our hour goes first. That's the 4. We put our colon on top and our other colon on the bottom. And we're going to show 15 minutes. We write our 1 first and then the 5 to read 4:15. Now, when people see this time on the clock, or if someone asks you what time it is, you can say it's 4:15, or you can say a quarter of the hour has passed. So we write a quarter of hour has passed. So if someone walk up to you and it is 4:15 and they say, hey, what time it is? You can say a quarter past 4, or you can say a quarter of the hour has passed. We write a quarter past 4 this way. A quarter past 4. This will let the person know that the time is 4:15 because we have a quarter of an hour has passed, 15 minutes. Now, I want you to take that minute hand and I want you to move it to 4:30. I want your clock to show 4:30. Where should our minute hand be? If you are struggling, you flip those flaps. If we stopped at 15, we know 4 is 20. Then we have 25, 30. So our minute hand should now be on the 6. We want to move that minute hand to the 6. And our hour hand is still on 4. Now, here we say it is 4:30. When 30 minutes has passed, you can also say this a different way. we read 30 minutes as half an hour. So let's write 4:30. Again, when 30 minutes has passed in the hour, we read it as half an hour. So if someone asks you what time it is now, you can say half an hour has passed, or you can say half past 4. This will let the person know that the time is now 4:30. So we read again 30 minutes as half an hour. And we read 15 minutes as a quarter of an hour. Now, let's go and move to 45 minutes. I want your minute hand to show us 45 minutes. So we should be on the 9. We stopped at 30 minutes before and we moved to 45 minutes. Our hand should be on the 9. We went 30, 35, 40, 45. Now we are going to write 4:45 digitally. Remember, 4 is the hour. We write those colons and then we show the minutes. 4:45. Now, 45 minutes, we are closer to a new hour. So now we are going to read this as a quarter to. So we read 45 minutes as a quarter to a new hour. So here, I know it's going to seem a little confusing, but if it's now 4:45 and someone asks you the time, you can say it is a quarter to 5 o'clock. We say a quarter to 5 o'clock because we only need 15 minutes to make a new hour. When you are telling time, 15 minutes equals a quarter of an hour. Remember, when we were at 15, it was a quarter past 4. Now, when we get to 45, we only need 15 more minutes to get to 5 o'clock. So now we say a quarter to 5 o'clock. So let's remember, 15 minutes equals a quarter. 30 minutes is half an hour. And 45 minutes is a quarter to a new hour. And remember, it's a quarter to because you only need 15 minutes to reach the new hour. We can go ahead and move our clock and our notes, but keep them close by because we can reference them when we move on to the next activity. I need you to go ahead and grab that printout. If you don't have the printout, just grab a new blank sheet of paper and we can still work. Here, we are going to match the clocks on the left to the times on the right. Our clocks on the left is an analog clock, and we are going to match them to the digital clocks and the word form of those times on the clock. So we are mixing our analog clock, digital time, so let's start with letter A. We want to first identify the time that is on the analog clock. And we move first to the hour hand. The hour hand is the shorthand. We can draw a little line because the hour hand is not directly on any of our numbers. So let's draw a line to see where it actually stops. It is between the 2 and the 3. Whenever your hour hand is in between two numbers, you want to take the hour that's in the front of the hand. So we want to say that this is 2 o'clock. So let's write that time, write our hour, 2. We put our colons because remember we have to put those minutes. And then we move to our Minute hand. The minute hand is on the 6th. Remember, you can count time several different ways. You can count them by ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, and so on. But we want to start at the 1 because that minute hand is directly on the number, so we can start at a 1. And when we start at 1, remember we're not counting by ones, we're counting by fives. So let's count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We can write the 30 at the bottom to just remind us. And then we want to write it next to our time over on the side. So this time on clock A is 2:30. We want to match this time to 2:30 on the right side. So we already see that it matches one of the digital clocks. We can go ahead and draw the line. Now, we need to see which one of these word forms matches this analog clock as well. We read the first one, it says 5:30. Well, we know our hour is in 5, so that's not an option. The next one says 5:30. Still too much time. Then we can read 12 o'clock. Well, we know it's 2, so we have more hours than 12 o'clock. So let's read the last one. 2:30. Well, that matches our analog clock and our digital clock. So we want to draw a line from the analog clock to the word form 2:30. Let's move to the next one. Letter B. Remember, you want to start with identifying your hour hand first. It's in between 2 hours, so you can draw a little line just to help you focus. And we count those hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like writing my time on the side just to keep track of what time I am working with. So I have a 5 for my hour, and now we go to the minutes. Well, our minute hand is at the 6, just like the problem above. So we can just write 30 if we like, or you can start from the beginning. You start from the 1 and count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And it will show 30 minutes. So we write 5:30. Remember, we have to match these clocks on the left to the clocks on the right. Doesn't match any of those digital clocks. So let's see if it matches any of those word times. Our first option says 5:30. If we look back at our notes, remember I said whenever 30 minutes pass on the clock, we can say half an hour has passed. So I think that matches 5:30. And if we move down to see if there's another option, we can keep reading. 5:30. Well, that sounds the same. So let's go ahead and draw a line from our analog clock to the word 5:30. And we can read the next one, 12:30. Well, that's not enough time. So I think we can move to the next clock. So remember, start with the hour hand. That hour hand is in between 2 numbers. Okay, remember we want to take the hour that's in front of the minute hand whenever our hour hand is in between 2 numbers. So our hour is 12. Write those colons. Now, remember, you then move to the minute hand. The minute hand is at the 6. Again, you can write the 30 because all of our times, our minutes hands has been at 30. If not, let's write them. Remember, start at 1, that's 5 minutes. 2, 10. 3, 15. 4, 20. 5, 25. So our minutes is 30 minutes. And again, we had to match the analog clock to our times on the right. Well, we see the digital clock already reads 12:30. So let's draw that line to our digital clock. And then we can find the word time, 12:30. Remember, 30 minutes means half an hour has passed. So 12:30. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 says, draw the minute hand so the clock shows the time written above it. So for letter A, this is the time written above it, 7 o'clock. And this is the clock. So we need to draw the minute hand on this analog clock because the hour hand is already written for us. They already have it written at the 7. To show 7 o'clock, where do our minute hand need to be? At the 12. So let's draw our minute hand. Remember, it's longer than the hour hand. And our clock shows 7 o'clock. Let's do letter D together. Letter D says 1:30. Again, they started by drawing the hour hand first. It's in between 2 hours. So remember, we take the hour at the top. And now we need to draw that minute hand at 30. If we forget where our 30 is on the clock, start at 1 and start counting by 5s. Let's write it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 minutes is at the 6. We put our minute hand at the 6 to show 1:30. I want you to finish the rest of them and try them on your own. Remember, you can use your notes if you need to refer back to them, the note page that we created earlier. You can definitely use those, or you can use the examples at the top of the page to help you out.